Hey, welcome everybody. It is Tuesday, April 2nd, 2019. This is Walking with God. I'm your host, Kyle Walker. I am, of course, sorry that I was off last week. It was a rather unexpected thing, but I wanted to just start the show with that. I am sorry for missing last week. Thank you, everyone who was understanding of my situation. I really hate missing weeks, but, you know, life happens. And so sometimes you have to miss a show on a Tuesday night. So my apologies, but we're back this week. I understand that we'll probably be a little light on the live crowd whenever I take a week off or miss a little time. We kind of break whatever momentum we have going at that point. But hopefully we'll get it back. I see a few people in right now, so that's cool. Thank you guys all very much. 2 weeks ago, before the break, we had Joe on. I just want to, as always, thank Joe for his time to come on and talk to us and share things. And so, again, I wasn't able to thank him last week. So thank you to Joe for all his contributions to the show. They're always greatly appreciated. You know, we'll see how much longer those last as Joe's getting to be, big preacher man. And, pretty soon we'll have to pay for his services. And, we just don't have the budget for that. So here's hoping we can keep Joe for a while. But he's about to blow up. He's going to be the next Osteen or Myers or something. Anyway, moving on. So like I said, last week we had a little health issue in the family, and that's why I was off. And that's kind of what I took the time off to address. But there was also another reason that I was not on last week. And I will be really honest with you guys. I was suffering a little bit of burnout. Trying to get this show ready every week and make it not be terrible and actually be worth your time to watch. It's not always the easiest thing in the world, but it's something I enjoy doing. But really, last week with everything that was going on, I was suffering some serious burnout when it comes to this show. And, really when burnout occurs, it's at least what I think it is, burnout occurs when what you're doing, it feels like it doesn't add value or it isn't fulfilling to you. And of course, the only reason I sit here week after week, and most of the time we're talking about, either the single life or divorced issues, is because I want to add value to your lives or to your situation. Because when we started this, of course, I did this as a way to help my fellow divorced people and hopefully, help you avoid stupid, terrible things that I've already been through, having been divorced now for almost 9 years. But as I was sitting here last week, man, my heart just wasn't in it, because you don't always know if you're adding value to people's lives. And I wasn't feeling very fulfilled with what I was doing. I have made no secret. I always hoped that this show would just take off and skyrocket, and this would be a nationally televised thing right now. That'd be cool, but no. So we are growing as a show, but it is super slow. Like, the growth is very small. But I'm not knocking that. I'm not upset about it. I'm just a very impatient person. And so it was kind of weighing heavily on me last week. And so I just thought maybe this week we'd kind of talk about that, because this is just, kind of my opinion on the issue, my opinion on burnout and passions and, things of that nature. Now, I say that this is just my opinion because it's just my opinion. Yours might be different. I'm going to present a different opinion as we get farther along in the show from somebody else. So I'm not sitting here telling you that mine is right or mine is the only way. I'm just telling you that what I'm going to start with is mine. But before we dive in, you guys will notice that I am wearing my Johnny Wrestling shirt. It's WrestleMania week, and I am a dork, and so I'm super excited to actually wear a wrestling shirt here on the show. And then you're going to notice that I've got some funky attire on my head tonight. I know this looks very strange. You might be asking yourself, Kyle, are you out of ball caps? The answer is no, not even close. I have plenty. We will get to the reason for this particular headdress towards the end of the show. So if you are super intrigued by my hat situation, then I invite you to stay tuned, and we will talk about why I have a do-rag and then the Union Jack on my head. We're going to get to that. Okay, so back to what we're going to talk about tonight. Burnout and passions, because they really kind of walk hand in hand when they hit you. We all have our passions. We all have the things that we love to do. And then we all have times where maybe we don't love it so much because it's not fulfilling to us. It's not doing the things that we want it to do. And that's what happened to me last week. And I know that it's happened to people before. I can give two very specific examples of when I've seen that happen. And the first one, let us say that you are a musician. I'm sorry, see, 2 weeks off now, I can't talk. You're a musician, all right? So when do you feel burnout? Now, as someone who is not musical at all, I could not play a kazoo. It would be terrible. I can only guess. But what I'm going to guess, though, is that if you're a musician and you practice and then you never get the chance to perform, you're going to burn out on what it is that you're doing. If you just practice and you never get to see kind of the fruits of your labor, then you're going to get burned out on just playing the same songs, playing to the same wall or wherever your instrument might be set up. You actually need to get out and perform to get that fulfillment and to add the value that we mentioned earlier to the people with whom you want to share it with. Okay, so there's no payoff. There's no payoff for your hard work if you don't get out there and you don't perform in front of someone. And I'm not saying you have to go be the next big concert at the Sprint Center. I'm not saying that at all. But if you're a person, and I always think this would be the coolest thing, I have always wanted to learn to play piano, just so when I'm at the Christmas party with a bunch of my friends, and there's a piano sitting there, you can sit there. You could sit at that piano. You could play tunes. You and your friends could be singing around a piano, singing Christmas songs. Maybe I'm a dork. Well, no, I can guarantee you I am. I'm wearing a wrestling shirt. But I think that would be just the coolest thing ever if I was musically inclined. And then if you could imagine, or at least I imagine, the fulfillment it would be. All my friends would be gathered around this piano. I'd be playing, they'd be singing, Merry Christmas to all and to all a good night. I think that would be really cool. And if you're a musician, I feel like one of the reasons you are a musician, not just because you're talented, but because you like to perform and you like to bring what I consider the gift of music to all your friends. And I've absolutely seen that before. I have seen a musician who just got burned out on playing because this person never got to play for anyone. And apparently I did not qualify, even though I will sit and listen to anyone play anything all the time because I think it is such a great talent and such a great gift. Another one, okay, maybe you are an artist. Maybe you have artistic ability. The same point applies, all right? If you are in your studio and you spend the countless hours it takes to mix your paint and to clean your brushes, and then you agonize over every inch of the canvas of which you're working, if no one sees your work, then you're bound to lose interest, in going through all the steps that it takes to actually put brush to canvas. Right? And this is another one. I've seen a person who absolutely had this issue, did all this great work, but no one ever saw it, and then eventually stopped. And I feel like that's just a waste of somebody's talent if they eventually give up on what it is that they enjoy. Now, that goes to the burnout. That goes to not feeling fulfilled by what you're doing and then not adding value to other people. Now, I think bringing music to someone's life is adding value to someone. Bringing art to somebody's life is adding value to someone. And for all my teacher friends out there, this is where I totally got your back. All the cuts to public school systems and the taking away of art programs and the taking away of music programs is absolutely ridiculous because we are not adding that value, the artistic value, the musical value to our kids, the ones who probably need it the most. So teachers, I got you right there on that one. Not that anyone ever listens to me, but it's the same thing. If you are passionate about singing, okay, if singing is your thing and you have a great voice, then get out there and sing. If you are a great dancer, get out there and dance. Go win a ballroom dancing contest because, man, if you watch those people, they can flat go. I cannot. Okay, but if you have, let's say you are, we'll go real biblical here. Let's say you're a carpenter. All right, let's say that you can build things and you can fix things and you can repair things. There are just people with those mechanical minds who can see something broken and know instantly how they're going to fix it. I know how I'm going to fix it. I'm going to write the check to the guy who's mechanically minded who knows how to fix it because that's not me. But there are people who can build anything. My grandfather was one of those. He could look at a block of wood and be like, yep, that's going to be a clock, and it's going to be in this shape, and it's going to work like this, and it's going to be amazing. And it is, because that's what he could do. So if you are one of those people, then you know what? Get your fulfillment and add that value by building for others. You know, find homes in need. There is a charity here locally. It's a Christian-based charity, and they will go around to people's homes and they will fix things. They'll just fix things for people. They volunteer their time as basically handymen, for lack of a better term, and fix things. God's Army, that's what they're called. God's Army will go around and they will go to homes of people who are less fortunate, and they will fix things, or just people who need it. And so if you have that passion, if you have that ability to fix things, it is a waste of your passion to not go out and help people who definitely need it. And to those people who can do that, then you guys are awesome. Just something a little bit referring to myself, I have a passion and a talent for talking. Yes, I can run my mouth with the best of them, which is probably why I'm sitting here right now. You can get burned out on talking, apparently, because that's what happened to me last week. But I have the passion and the talent for talking. And then I definitely, without question and without ever there being burnout, I have a love of sports. So when I was able to combine the two things, I like to talk and I like sports, hey, I get to be a college basketball broadcaster. That is me trying to use my passion for talking and sports to add value to other people, to the people I broadcast for. And I know that I'm adding value, and what makes me feel fulfilled, say that 3 times fast, is when I'm at MNU and a parent will come and say, hey, we love listening to your broadcast when we can't make it to a game. You're really funny, or we like how you give the officials a hard time, and I do. Or, you know, it makes us feel like we're here even if our family lives in Texas. All right, to the point, there's a player, and she was just a senior. I'm going to be so sad next year. Her parents would bring me this awesome dessert, 1 game per year, whenever they brought for the team. And it was like this half-baked cookie on top of a brownie, and it was like the most delicious thing ever. But that's because when they couldn't be at the game, they liked listening to my broadcast. So my basketball broadcasting is definitely my passion. It's where I feel fulfilled and where I add value to others. And that's what we're supposed to be doing with our passions. And if we're not doing that, then that's when we're going to get burned out. Does that make sense? In my mind, this makes sense. You might think, Kyle, you're an idiot, and you're not going to be the first one to think that. But to me, this is what makes sense. All right. Now, I know that we do have, there's kind of another side to it. Okay. So just this morning, Joe, our buddy Joe, asked me what I'd be talking about tonight. And I kind of gave him just the real quick, here's what we're going to talk about. And he presented me with a quote that I found interesting. Now, he has talked about on this very show before a gentleman by the name of Henri Nouwen. This guy is infinitely smarter than me. Not that that's difficult, but he actually has a quote about burnout. Now, this is more spiritually relevant, more spiritually related than what I'm talking about. So just go ahead for a moment and put your little spiritual caps on. And then, just peeking at the chat room here. Oh, Jennifer, hello. Julio, hello. Good to see you guys in. Here is the quote, and I'm going to try and go through this kind of slowly, mainly because I feel like I've been talking too fast. And then this guy is deep. All right, and here we go. He says, aren't you, like me, hoping that some person, thing, or event will come along to give you that final feeling of inner well-being you desire? Don't you often hope, may this book, idea, course, trip, job, country, or relationship fulfill my deepest desire? But as long as you are waiting for the mysterious moment, you will go on running helter-skelter, always anxious and restless, always lustful and angry, never fully satisfied. You know that this is the compulsiveness that keeps us going and busy, but at the same time makes us wonder whether we are getting anywhere in the long run. This is the way to spiritual exhaustion and burnout. This is the way to spiritual death. Okay, and that is from Henri Nouwen, and I thought that was such a great quote. I'll put it on the Facebook page so that you guys can kind of see it for yourself. I probably don't do it justice reading it, but haven't we all been there? Haven't we all been where we are in the situation? And again, divorced and single folks, I'm really talking to you right now, which is, kind of where my passion is, where my heart is for y'all. But haven't we sat there and thought, okay, if I just found that right person, that one right person that's just going to fill every empty part of my soul, then I'm going to I'm going to be happy. I'm going to be happy forever because I'm going to find that one person, that one missing thing. Okay. So we look for that person, and no matter who we find, it doesn't fill this void that he's talking about. Okay. So maybe it is a thing. Maybe it's a tangible thing that you can put in your hand. This is the thing that is going to bring my life completeness. I'm going to bet most of the time you haven't found that either. Maybe it's an event. And for so many people, it's I'm going to get remarried. All right, you've been married once, you got the divorce, you found yourself single, and then, oh my goodness, I'm single, I need to find that one thing that's going to just complete my life. And so you think getting remarried is going to be it. You wait for all of those things, one of those things to come along to get you that final feeling of inner well-being that we desire. Okay, and even as he continues on, and again, I'm just emphasizing here, maybe we will then say, oh, maybe I'll read this self-help book, and that's going to give me all the answers that I seek. Maybe I will read somebody's idea. Maybe it's an idea that you get off of this show. Doubtful, but I can hope. Maybe I need to go back to school. Maybe I need to take a trip. Maybe I need a new job. Maybe I just need, again, that relationship to fulfill my deepest desires. And we've all been there. I guarantee we've all been there. We thought, I just need to go away for a week and clear my head, and I'll come back energized. We never come back energized. We just come back more tired. Okay, or maybe I need that new job. Well, at least in my world, if I go from one bank to another, I'm going to be doing the same job. And so all I've done was basically change the wallpaper that I stare at every day. And so we look at all these different things that are going to make us not be burned out, and that's going to bring us that desire that we're looking for and just kind of complete us as individuals. That's what we're going to find. And then it never happens. As he says here, we just spend our time running helter-skelter. I like that term, all around. And I am as guilty of that as anybody else out there. If you looked at my calendar for the month of April, I have 2 days, 2 Friday nights where I am not booked up for something. And those Friday nights, I'm parenting. I've got my kids. But every day I have something. I've got a wedding that I'm going to be in, and I'm super excited to be in it. Don't get me wrong, but there's 3 days out of the month that I'm booked up. Every Wednesday night, I'm taking my oldest daughter to volleyball. Every Thursday night, I'm picking her up from track. After I drop her off from track, I'm heading over to play my own volleyball because I want to do that. My Monday nights are softball. My Tuesday nights are the show. Every other weekend, I've got the kids. I've got the kids going here and there and everywhere. I'm running myself into the ground, and we wonder why we're getting burned out. And you know what? I'll freely admit, as I'm sitting here right now, what's the one thing I didn't put on that list? Where's my time at the church? There hasn't been any. There isn't none. And we wonder why we might be getting a little burned out on things. We are not refilling our cup spiritually, which is infinitely more important than finding that vacation spot or finding that new job or finding that new person or getting that second marriage. We're not taking care of ourselves spiritually, which is what Henri Nouwen is referring to. And if we don't do that, then everything else is just going to fall by the wayside. Remember, this is a Christian-based show, so yes, I have to tie this into religion. Ha-ha, got you, didn't I? I know sometimes when I do that, everything clicks off. Oh, no, there everyone went anyway. All the viewers are gone. Thank you all who are still here. So it's just this burnout can come from, as he says, spiritual exhaustion. And again, that is where we are just running ourselves into the ground and not taking the time to spiritually rest, to rest in the word or to rest at church or to really just spend that time alone with Big Man. And for me, that's kind of where it's at. I don't have to drive to a building for an hour every Sunday. I need to spend my time alone with the Big Man, and I haven't been doing that myself. and you wonder why you're tired. It took me a minute to wonder why I was tired, and then it's like, oh, look at what I'm not doing. Well, that kind of says a few things. So that is where I wanted to leave us on this subject. Okay, it's the spiritual exhaustion is a big key to the burnout. And that's how Henri Nouwen presents it. For me, and for what I wanted to share with you guys, at least my opinion of it, if you are not adding to someone else's life, and if you yourself are not feeling fulfilled, then it doesn't matter how much you like doing something, you're going to get burned out on it. And it's a waste of your talent if you get burned out so much you don't ever want to go back. Like, oh man, I really used to love playing that instrument, but yeah, I never got to play it in front of anyone, and now it's just sitting there dusty and it's out of tune, and it would take me too long to, kind of get the finger work back, or the oh boy, I can't think of the word because I'm not a musician. Whatever it takes, the strength to blow into a saxophone, or whatever your case might be. Eventually, we get so far removed from what we love, we are afraid to go back to it. For me right now, I'm supposed to be marathon training. I am so far removed from my love of running, I am afraid to go put one foot in front of the other. How stinking sad is that? Because I eventually did it too much and burned myself out on it. Now I'm too scared to go back. And how many people are like that? You're too scared to pick up your instrument. You're too scared to try and put brush to canvas. You're too scared to go sing that karaoke song that was your jam 5 years ago. All right. And that's all because we are not feeling fulfilled by it. And we're not adding to value. But I think that if you really take the time to kind of fill yourself up first, then return to your passion, return to it knowing that you're going to use it to benefit somebody else and to bring value to their life. And I bet you will find a renewed spirit, a renewed energy to do what it is you like to do. And again, sing, dance, play an instrument, do some art. If you're a good cook, go cook. Bake me a cake. Bring it right here. I'll eat it in front of everybody on the show. Sound like a deal? I thought it sounded like a deal. Okay, so the last thing that I'm going to bring up tonight, and again, it goes back to this head gear that I've got on. Actually, I know it's not my standard ball cap. It's funny, and it's not funny, but it's humorous and comical-ish how small the world is. All right, we may think it's a big globe, but it's really not. And if you're into something like I am in the running community, you meet people within the running community. You get to know them, you get to know their stories, and it's this hobby that we all do that has brought us together. Well, last year last year after I found out I had made the Chicago Marathon, I joined a Facebook group that was solely for people running the Chicago Marathon. They could ask questions, they could compare hotel rooms, or when are you flying in, what hotel are you staying at, who has the best rates, where's packet pickup, what's the expo hours. It's just a group like that. So as I introduced myself and I talked to people within that group, I came across several people and kind of struck up friendships and acquaintances and things of that nature. One of them is even a donor to this show, as amazing as she is, and we've never met in person. And so it's this world that we've all come together in. One of the people that I met last year actually lives in the UK, lives in Britain, okay, which is why I am wearing this tonight. And you might have seen on the show's Facebook page earlier, but she suffered the tragic and sudden loss of her husband. And this was a man younger than me who just, medical issues have not been released, of course, but from all accounts, I'm going to say it was probably heart related. And even though he received medical attention and he received it quickly, it was just his time. And I've never met him. I never met him. I never met his wife. We have interacted on social media only. I have followed her journey as she's trying to complete the 6 world marathon majors, okay? Boston, New York, Chicago, Japan, Berlin, and London. And she's only 1 or 2 away from completing this, going to Boston in 2 weeks, and then suffers this. And when I read it today, my heart it sunk. It really did. And you can tell I'm getting emotional about it now. it was so surprising and shocking to me because I've seen them on Facebook posting everywhere as recently as a couple weeks, maybe a month ago in Tokyo. And then as they were getting ready for Boston, and again, as a running community, I cheered for her. She's almost completed something that I desperately want to do for myself. I may not ever get the chance just because age, injuries, money, all of that is detrimental to my cause of completing the 6 world marathon majors. But she was so close. And I don't know if she's going to try and do Boston after this. But when I saw that, man, it just my heart goes out to them. And I put it on the show's Facebook page. I want them to have all the prayers. If my voice and my weight carries anything with anyone, I want you to mention them in your prayers tonight. You just call them the British runner. You know, I don't really want to name drop, although I'm sure she wouldn't mind, as it's now been made public knowledge. But you know, just the runner and her husband. Keep them in your prayers tonight, and probably for the foreseeable future. Because even though I'm divorced, and even though it's been a long time since I've had anyone that I called spouse, I can only imagine the pain that comes with losing that. And again, suddenly and unexpectedly. So that is why this is the best I could do. This was all I had. I got this last year when I was trying really hard to make the London Marathon, and even though I was not chosen in the lottery, you know, I got this as just kind of maybe a potential good luck. Now I'm really glad that I got it because I can at least honor her and her country, and her memory, not her memory, but you know, just the awareness of the situation. And so I ask you to all please keep them in your thoughts and prayers as we go forward this week. And I don't have great words, especially with something like this. So we're going to leave this up to Big Man and see what he's got. So that's going to do it for our show tonight. We will be back next week as we just kind of keep this train moving towards Memorial Day, which has been our normal sign off for the summer, because it's summertime. You guys don't need to be inside on your computer. You need to be outside cooking and camping and doing all that good stuff that summer brings. For all of you who joined me tonight, thank you so much. Again, I'm sorry for not being on last week, but life was hectic. Things are smoothing out, which is really cool. So let's go ahead and say our final prayer, and then we'll head on out of here. So Heavenly Father, thank you so much for our time together tonight. Thank you for just kind of re-energizing me and revitalizing what I want to do and what I want to accomplish with this show. And again, all this is for you, even though I may not be the best one at doing it. I'm sure going to try. Thanks for helping us get through tonight on a very difficult subject, especially toward the end. Lord, I ask that you will refill everyone, refill their energy, refill their passions, refill their desires, both to be closer to you and then what they want to accomplish in your name. And so, Lord, bring us all back next week. Keep everyone safe and be with our dear friends across the pond in the UK who are really struggling right now. The family, both close and extended, for the man who passed and for his wife left behind. Pray all this in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. Really appreciate it. I know I say that every week, but I really do want you to know that I feel fulfilled just knowing that someone out there has watched this. And anyone who joined me live, you guys are the best. Appreciate it, as always. So take care. Stay safe. We will see you next week. Have a good evening. Goodbye.